Hi there everyone, and welcome to the 10th tutorial in the Sign for Beginners tutorial series. And in this video we're going to take a look at Textdraws as well as Dialogs. The idea is to create a registration system which is based on Textdraws as well as Dialogs. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is to Google iPleomax Textdraw Editor. Now why are we using an editor? Well, it's going to make it a lot easier for us. And when we're using the editor, we're going to use it in-game. So we're going to see the final result, and it's just going to make it a whole lot easier for us. So I'm going to use iPleomax Texture Editor. Once you found the thread, you go down to the download section. You click on this one which contains the server, itd.amx, the DLL files, as well as the texture file. I'm then going to save it in my downloads directory. Once downloaded, I'm going to open it. I'm then going to head over to my Grand Theft Auto San Andreas installation location. Going to put that aside, and if you go inside the iPleomax folder, you can see that there's also a Grand Theft Auto San Andreas folder, and there's a model and txt. So you just go to your models and your txt folder. You then put the textdraw in here. I already had mine in there, it seems. And what you then have to do is to go back and you go into this one, which is SAMP 0.3 server. Then go into plugins and you go to your plugins directory and you put itd.dll in there. Once you have done so, you go into the filter scripts and into the filter script of your, and then you drag itd.amx inside your filter script folder. Once you have done so, everything should be alright. So now we can test it out. So to do so, you firstly have to add the filter script to your game mode. And to do so, you open server.config, you go to the filter scripts line, and you write itd. You then go to plugins and write itd dot, or actually you can just write itd. You then save, and if we start the server, it should work. And if we go up, we can see that iPleomax Texture Editor loaded successfully. So now we will test in-game. Right, so now we're going in-game and we're going to test it out. So all you have to do is to write /itd and the texture editor should pop up. And what I want you to do firstly is to click on this plus sign here, or the new. This is going to create a new project, and we're going to name this one register. We click on OK, and now we have a new project. So to create a new textdraw, all you have to do is to click on this manage button down here. You then click on create new textdraw. We're going to create a box firstly. So all you have to do is just drag this box with your left mouse button. So you hold your left mouse button and then you drag like this. This is going to be our kind of screen for the registration part. I want to talk about global and player text draws. If you click on this global button here, you can see that it now changed the textdraw type to player textdraw. Now what is a player textdraw and what is a global textdraw? Well, a global textdraw is good for things like message of the day or perhaps a clock or something, because the global textdraw is going to be updated for all the players when you change it. So you cannot change a global textdraw for only one player. That's what you use the player textdraw for. So this is good for perhaps statistics which are related to the player. This one can be global because we're not going to change it at all. We then head over to manage, and this time you can double click on use box if you want to edit it. As you can see, it's blue, so we already edited. You can destroy the selected one, which would destroy this one below here if you're not, if you think you want to redo it. Otherwise, we're going to create a new text draw. This time we're going to create a normal text draw. And basically all you have to do is to click on the left mouse button, and then you can move it around if you want to. We're just going to put it here. We're then going to click on this text here, and we're then going to change the text. So we're going to say, welcome to Prima. Please enter a password below to register. Like that. And as you can see, it's a little bit big, so we're going to change the size. And to do so, you click on letter size. If you have a box, you might want to use the size one, but since we have text, we're going to use the letter size. And we're going to use the mouse because it's easier. So we just hold left mouse button and then we move it like that. So welcome to Prima, please enter a password below to register. We're then going to create another one, so we click on manage and create a new one, and we're going to create a normal text draw. And this one is going to be special because I will do minus signs instead, like that. And we do the size, the letter size, with the mouse pointer. We're going to put this below, however we're going to change the color, and to do so you just click on this color here, and we're just going to do hexa 1 then. So we're going to do 0x of course, and we're doing let's do a red one, so we do ff 0000, and then we do a little bit of transparency, I guess, like that. We're then going to move it, so we click on this position here, and we're going to use the mouse pointer, and we're going to put it below it, like that. So we're going to click on manage, click on create new text draw. So we're going to create a box actually, and we're just going to create this one above this one, or below this one, like that. And then we're going to add another text, we're going to add another text draw, and this text draw, and we're just going to do a normal one, and this text draw is going to go inside this box. And actually here we have to, this one has to be player based, because otherwise when players go in, because we're going to change this text draw, and when players go in it's going to be kind of weird, because if it's global, then if one changes it, it's going to change for everyone. This one has to be player based. And basically what we're going to do here is to ask the user for a password, and we're going to show the password here, and of course we're going to hash it so it's going to be safe. And we're going to use whirlpool, so I'm going to show you how you can do that. So basically we're just going to do it like that. We're going to change the font just for practice, and then it's going to say text enter password, and we're going to change the letter size actually, just like that. And then we're going to add another one, which is going to be on continue button. I'm going to change the font on this one as well. I'm going to say continue. Okay. And actually what I forgot, I'm going to show you that later, but we're going to change the size here firstly, and that's about it. And we're going to position this one as well, something like that. Like that. Okay. So now what we want to do is to actually go to manage again, and the enter password one, we'll double click on that one, so we will edit it, and we have to make it selectable. And to do that, you go to selectable here and make sure that it says selectable yes. And we have to do the same thing with continue, because players are going to be able to select it. And the continue one should be able to be global because we're not going to change the text, so it doesn't matter really. And that's about it. So what we do now is just to make sure that we export it. So we click on this export here, and it says that project exported to td underscore register.par, and there's 5 global text draws and 1 player text draw. So that's it. So now we're going to go back to the computer or Windows again. Right, so how do we actually get our text draws to show up in the game? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is to edit the td underscore register with Notepad, and I'm going to give all these text draws a more appropriate name. So text draw 0 is going to be register background. I'm going to copy this text and I'm going to give text draw 0 the name register background instead, because I think it's a lot more appropriate. And there's also an error because text draw 0 is defined as text draw 0 both for the player text draw as well as the first global text draw. And but now we can actually save this one, and what we can do is to do Control H, and what we do is we search for text draw 0, and this should be the player text draw. We're going to replace this one with register password. Going to replace all. We're then going to do text draws 1. This is going to be called register welcome. Replace all. Then we do the second one, and this is going to be register underscore. Replace all. We then have 3 and 4, and these are the box as well as the continue one. So the box one is 3, so this is going to be register box. Replace all, and then we have the fourth one, which is the continue, so this is going to be called register continue. Now we have some more appropriate names, so what we do is to go back to our Pono directory. We start Pono. Once we have done so, we actually open our Prima script, and just below the define here we're going to add the variables, so we just copy and paste these ones in. We're going to add the player text as well below here, the variable for it. And then on game mode init, we're going to add the global ones, and the player one is going to be on player connect. So when the game mode inits, these global ones are going to be created. We're going to select all these and make sure that they have proper indentation. And once you have done so, we also go down and we select the player text draw, and we'll go to on player connect, and we add those there, and then we're going to indent as well, and then we save and compile, and it should work. So basically that's all you have to do. You have to add the variables at the top. The player text draw has the tag player text, the global one has the tag text, and then they all have a lot of attributes for colors and text size and so forth. So you can imagine how painful it would be to create all these lines by ourselves. So we're really thankful for iPliomax editor. So now we're going to actually create a dialog. Right, so now when the player connect, we want to show all the text draws for the player. And the first thing we want to do is to show the global ones, and to do so we do text draw show for player, and we then have the player ID as well as the ID of the actual text draw. And the first one is register background, and then of course we also have the register welcome, register underscore, the register box, as well as the register continue. And then last but not least, we do the player text draw, and to do that one we do player text draw show. We're going to give it the player ID as well as the text, and this time it's a little bit different. What we do is register password, and then in the array we give it the player ID. So we're going to show it for this particular player. So now if we save and compile, we get no errors. What we also have to do is to add toggle player spectating, and we then set the player ID, which is connecting to 1. So this will make it impossible for the player to actually use the spawn buttons to spawn himself. We then also have to do select text draw. I'm going to give it to the player ID, and the color is going to be, let's say we have a red color, so we do FF0000 and then some transparency. So this is going to make it impossible for the player to spawn, and it's going to make an arrow which he can select text draws in this color here. Right, so now what we want to do is to script so that if the user click on register password, the text draw, then we're going to show a dialog. Now each dialog should have an ID, and to make it a lot easier for us, we're going to create a define for it. And define should be register or dialog underscore register 1, and the value is going to be 1. So the first dialog is going to get ID 1. We're then going to go to the bottom of the script, or actually at below the last native callback, and we're going to add one which is public on player click player text draw, and we're going to give it the parameters or arguments player ID as well as a player text called player text ID. Inside this callback we're going to do an if statement, and inside this if statement we're going to check if player text ID is equal to register password, and then we're going to give it the player ID in the array. So if the player clicks his register password text draw, what do we want to do? Well, we want to show player dialog. I'm going to give it the player ID, so we're going to show it for the player ID. We're going to give dialog register 1, and actually it's a small hour here, and then we're going to have a style, and the style is going to be dialog style password. Then I'm going to have a caption, which is the title. Please enter a password below to register. And then we're going to have some information, and this is going to be below the caption or the title. And here it's going to say, please provide a strong password below. And then we're going to have two buttons, and the first one is going to be continue, and the second one is going to be cancel. And I'm going to finish this one off, and if we save and compile now, it should work. So now we're going to see how it looks in game. And now if we go in game, we can see that all the text draws actually show up, and we can also notice a bug, which is that we can select both these at the same time. However, I'm going to show you how you can fix that in a future tutorial. But for now, if you just click on enter password, you can see that it says please enter a password below to reg, and you can see here that there's actually an error, and the reason is that the title cannot be longer than that info text, because if it is, then it's not going to show the title fully. But it works anyway, and we can enter whatever we like, and as you can see, since I had the style password, it actually just create dots instead of actual text. Then you can click on cancel, and you can click on continue. And we're going to fix this bug here with the text, and we're going to script what to do with the actual content provided, and we're also going to make the info a little bit longer so that the title is showing as well. So thank you so much for watching this tutorial, and see you in the next one.